Welcome back to Disco, guys. So we're on the rooftop. We did a bunch of kind of filling in things, trying a few checks last time, but we've actually made our way over here because there's not really much else I can think of to do because I can't find the bullet traces anywhere. So we're going to head into this building as we're trying to find Ruby. Our outfit's a little bit weird at the minute. I'm just going to put the horrific necktie back on because obviously, and we'll get our rhetoric shirt, logic shirt back on. What's that? What are we losing? 2 in authority. Authority's just getting rinsed, which I don't really mind. This jacket shivers esprit de corps. I really like composure and suggestion. They're like 2 of my main stats, but they are decently high already. So this gives us a bit of a boost across the board. And shivers, yeah, let's just stick with it as is. We just changed the old necktie. Right, let's see what we've got in here. We shouldn't really run on the roof, I suppose. The central support beam has been destroyed by artillery fire. Right, how do we just walk down? Yeah. We can't go on there. Recording check. Right, let's go in. Oh, I'm nervous. I'm really worried that finding Ruby's going to like start the end of the game or something. Because I really just want to... Because we've got a couple of things we need to do tonight. But I can't imagine it would. I have no idea if it would actually. Glass is covered with grime and dust. You can barely see out. Let's get our torch on. Found a note. Or postcard. Martinez in 98. A faded picture postcard from the end of the last century shows Martinez as it was before the revolution. It's the height of summer. Rue de Saint-Ghislain is teeming with parasol-wielding bourgeoisie, and wild pines flags buttress the walkway. Nothing is written on the back. Prosperity. Let's head down. We need to find a way to get Kimmy in here, obviously. Okay, Ruby, are you here? That's the way out again. This collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Oh, right, jeez. Antiquated office furniture. Last century, maybe? Brought down and forgotten so long ago. This overturned table is covered in orange mildew, crawling with something. Oh, there's Kimmy. Let's have a look around first. Old file folders in the cart, documents silvery with mould. Let's let Kimmy in.
2 rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
Who's there?
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get this door open.
Alright, alright. Hello there,
The
Kimmy.
doors seem to be on rails, but they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the 2 metal panels slide open with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that.
How did you even get there?
After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. It was easy to miss before.
He's quite proud of himself.
At least... Yeah, so pedestrian.
Yes. It's cool to risk your life climbing rickety ladders. Anyway, let's investigate these passages.
Okay. Explore the passages. I shall. Let's go. A series of thick, dusty panes of glass. Maybe we'll find the more robust pry bar in here. Ooh. Interior Soliary suit jacket. I'll take that. Muted brown suit jacket, perfect for a day at the office or an evening at a cafe. The red rose at the bottom of the left breast pocket is slowly wilting. I quite like that. I want my suggestion back. With these pants though. We just need a decent shirt, right? And these pants are the worst. I like the savoir-faire though. That just looks so much more respectable except for the hat. See, look, we're like invincible in our good stats if we do that. And savoir-faire still on an 8. Right, let's have a look. It's just this hat that bugs me no end. In the beam of the flashlight, a crevice in the wall. Ooh. Stale fabric smell and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years. Okay, so she's not been sleeping in this room at least. Ooh. Mazovian socio-economics, a revolutionary's hat. That's very Soviet. So we won't get any benefits from this. And Ushanka with the Mazovian logo. Pair of deer antlers. On its silvery white font. Your ears feel cuddled and cared for by the state. So I'm guessing that we would have got, if we would have pursued that communist thought, this is what it would, that's what would have been the benefit. It looks ridiculous anyway. I missed my hat. My detective hat. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed. Ancient flyers and brochures. Same slit window you saw from the outside. These pots and plates are full of dust and spider webs.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. The plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spider web in the lower left corner of the portrait.
Krasmasov. Brush the dust off the portrait.
Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly.
It's that Mazov guy. This must have been the hiding place of some naive leftists.
Some radical or radicals were hiding out here. They left a long time ago.
How long?
Half a century. This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing.
He looks around.
I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted.
What's with all these secret weapons caches and secret bunkers?
We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Good hiding place for someone who's up to no good.
Maybe I should sleep here, seems cozy.
I won't stand in your way, but only after we're through with this case.
Could it be connected to the Mazov bust we found in the student's room?
Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced.
Fair enough.
They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff.
Could someone have stopped through here recently?
You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
He looks at the dust. Fair enough. Right, let's get out of here. I like my savoir-faire being high now. Boot prints in the sand. One of the soles appears more worn than the other. That's what we discovered at the site of the hanging, right? There's something in the air, an unnatural buzzing. It could collapse. The tunnel collapsed. You'll have to find another way around. It's getting louder, the buzzing sound. Are we under the church, maybe?
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost
Lieutenant, do you feel something?
No. What do you mean?
A pain, a strange tingling.
I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh.
Yeah, I saw them too, footprints with the right sole worn smooth.
Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully.
What do you mean?
Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
Well, that sounds like point of no return talk.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
We found out Everart's plan to take the harbour. Maybe we should tell Joyce about it. We've still got a date with the pigs and my gun. We've checked the boy with Clash's documents. I want to hear her take on why it was empty before. How bad do you think things could get? We found Everart's plan to take the harbour. Maybe we should tell Joyce.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
Still got my date with the pigs and my gun.
We absolutely cannot skip that appointment. Consider that 100% confirmed. I fear you'll need your gun for this.
His hand rests on his holster. It's not enough. You need a gun in your hand too. Your gun.
We've checked the boy with Clash's documents. I want to hear her take on why it was empty before.
Okay, why not? Whatever goes down might also affect her. The Union is watching her closely now.
Not closely enough, you suspect. But still,
Yeah.
good idea to visit her once more.
How bad do you think things could get?
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
He smiles in the dark.
Let's try not to worry, he thinks. If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
What do you think's waiting for us there?
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. We still have the element of surprise.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
Okay, confirmed. Point of no return. Enter the cavern below the Fell building. When you're ready, no. Union and cryptozoology business might end when you do. Right, that confirms it. Point of no return. I'm out of here. We've got other stuff to do. Oh. What was that? That was a thought. Come back. Come back! Come on, thought. There you
This isn't just glass. These are old computation components.
are. Are they?
Yes, filament memories. From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system.
How did they do that?
The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know.
Hey, Kimmy, look, old cybernetics.
So it is. I think it is used to form a single system, slotted in the wall.
But this is all that remains of failed R&D.
The rest of the building seems to have been picked clean.
Could this be part of the failed playback experiment?
These? No. These are old filament memories. I hope you're not expecting to find that device here. You will be disappointed.
All you will find here is pain.
Okay. Man, where do we find that other pry bar then? Right, let's get out of here. Yeah, well, we've got a bunch of other stuff we could be trying, right? It's just some of it I'm never going to be checks that I'm going to have to get insanely lucky to go through. That savoir-faire check that we got at the end of the last episode, we only... I don't think we could have spotted this on our own, right? Let's stick the pry bar on. Do we need to reset the traps then? Or recheck the traps?
A few locusts trudge along the wall of the trap. The rest are piled in a heap in the corner, dead. No phasmid anywhere. Poor things.
Okay. Right, so we need to talk to Joyce, we need to talk to Clashy, we need to go on that date, and we need to talk to get our gun back. And we've got a bunch of kind of really low percentage or high, you know what I mean, low percentage white checks that we could do. Wait, was there another trap down here, right? Yeah, these ones are still full.
The trap is filled with dead and dying locusts. Most of them aren't moving anymore. You still can't see a phasmid anywhere. Poor things.
Oh, exactly the same dialogue. I don't want to talk to the bureaucrat again, so... What else could we buy? I don't think there's much else. We might as well go and get the little deposit of money from the... over by the boardwalk, right? Yeah, there's always a bit of spare money in here. And we've got the check for the thing here that's an interfacing check, right? So the interfacing, it's a red check though, so it won't show up on here, will it? We've missed all the conceptualization checks. Yeah, mostly just physical instrument checks now. Maybe it's worth sticking a point in it, just to try and finish them off. Right? Right, what should we do? How could we need to go talk to Joyce and then talk to Clashy. Right, that's the plan for the time being. And see how much time that passes. Well guys, if you have any tips of things to do at this point, I'm trying to think if I'd be able to get to them with my recording schedule, but hey there, Joyce. Right, I don't mind telling her about Everart's plan.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
We've been talking to Everart again.
Oh?
This whole thing's a takeover.
A takeover?
Yeah, it's not a strike. You aren't being let in because there's nothing to negotiate. The union's taking the terminal. He's told me so in his own words. He's taking it. He'll also use the drug trade to finance the harbour. Wow, this... I can't say anything else now. The union's taking the terminal.
If they're taking it...
She looks toward the colourful mountain of crates like toy blocks rising above Martinez.
Green livery, changing into red, blot by blot.
Then we're talking about a war. Everart needs to let me into the harbour at once. We need to talk about this.
He's ready for a war, they all are. The war is their goal. I told you before, Everart has always wanted this to escalate. I can ask him to let you in. Yeah, it's their goal. I told you before, Everart has always wanted this to escalate.
An insane goal. Cronell has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon of 20 men and a gunship. The one after that, 100.
I've seen the Union's forces. They are better organized than these mercenaries. They also have the support of the people of Revachol West.
True.
It will take more than Cronell to wipe them out. Wild Pines will need to send more and better equipped men. Make no mistake, ma'am. I am sure you have the money. The question is, how many years and how many lives are you willing to sacrifice?
What do you suggest I do?
Does it matter? Her mind's made up. It has been for some time. The choice was whether to tell her this, and you've already made it.
First, will this affect your decision-making process? It's not the RCM's job to make these decisions. The workers should have the harbour. Cut off the snake's head. Everart's pushing all this. It's a bluff. Call it. Have them open fire and see how long they last. Bring in everything you have and wipe them from the face of the earth. Look at your wrist. It's apocalypse o'clock. Time to commence the gloaming. I wish there was a disco option. You've already made up your mind, man. What is it? Will this affect your decision-making process?
Everything affects the decision-making process, Detective.
Officer?
The look on the lieutenant's face conveys uncertainty. He doesn't even sound angry.
For once, I don't seem to know what the right thing to do is.
I wish there was a disco option.
I'm afraid we won't disco our way out of this one.
Yeah, you've already made up your mind, ma'am. What is it?
What will I do?
She says, slowly looking around.
Her arms fall to her sides. Her spine relaxes.
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? During our reality lowdown?
You said you would, one day.
It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The last one for 400 years.
Why?
The nations who colonized this Isola called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew, all they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble, akin to another world, or life after death. The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return. 2 did, but had lost their minds.
8 expeditions, is that a normal number?
It was anything but normal. There was no precedent. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad, or both. Until after years of trial and error, and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry, the 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
The air is cold and scented with petrichor.
This ocean.
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination. The mass hand proclaimed, "Lancielinde, Lancielinde," the signal to wake up.
I'm just going to read this again, sorry. It was anything but normal. There was no precedent. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad, or both, until after years of trial and error, and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry, the 8th expedition returned, sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean. What? A psychological regime that imitated the creation process of poetry. Ugh.
But they could not. They were sane and conscious. As islands began to appear on the horizon. There are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer. The freckled face of God.
She smiles.
Après la vie, la mort. Après la mort, la vie encore. Après la mort, le gris. Après la gris, le monde encore.
After life, death. After death, life again. After the Isola, the Pale. After the Pale, Isola again.
On the second day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lizargique. The bird was preserved and brought back, along with pollen.
She looks to the sky, then back at you. Wow, I mean, what are they crossing when they cross the Pale? What could they be crossing? Could they be crossing Yeah, are they crossing to another world, perhaps? Somewhere else? Another plane? Through purgatory? To the life beyond? The gateway between the life and the afterlife?
4 years later, the Queen's Counsellor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The age of humanism, internationalism, and parliamentary rule followed. We were high.
Leaving us here.
On Caillou, the Pebble, the largest of the fertile, uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions later.
The Great Skewer was the first bird they saw.
The first living, autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune.
They seem to have it in for it. Or it for me, I brought one.
In your defense, it is a nasty creature who plucks food from the throats of lesser birds. Yet much like Revachol, it is also magnificent and rare. Imagine the suzerain of seagulls.
There was a sting in your heart at the mention before, when she said its name.
So, and this was the last break, the last discovery we got.
The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnection. But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there. Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. But here...
She spreads her arms.
There was no one but the Skewer. The Liliat Seyer. And the Blood Beach. And the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol, the suzerain.
Maybe we just heard the history about how he spent all the reserves. What happened?
Revolution, poverty, and the mercurial rise of capitalism.
She nods. So what are you going to do, Joyce?
I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
Is that within your means?
She puts her hand in the rain. She's silent for a second.
We will see.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes, then 4, then 100.
He looks toward the harbour.
What happens will happen.
She takes the end of her rain-slick hand and starts untying the knot.
The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez. If you handle the situation on the ground.
Amputate? Man. I do have rhetoric clothes I could put on, but this is a red check. I don't want to say anything else. She generally avoids that term with her employers. I'll say this first, in the hope that we get to try this check again. You're going now?
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted all my options from here.
Come on, man. 58.
Forget about that. No! What was that about the age of capital only beginning? You need to talk politics with this lady.
Oh, bloody hell, man. That was an important check. Forget about that. What was that about the age of capital only beginning? You need to talk politics, yeah. Don't forget to shoot the bourgeoisie in the head. Don't forget to purge the world of degenerates. What further plans do you have for the age of capital, man? Use vague rhetoric obsessed with its own legitimacy, like I do. What further plans do you have?
In short, Harry, we will revoke the pigment standard. Your money will no longer need to be black like chitin, and there will be so much more of it.
Wow.
I know. Keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
How far along is Crenel's investigation?
A confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps. As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your shadow. Arm yourselves. Armor yourselves. Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties.
When are they going to make their move? Where will they make it?
Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see. They know I've been feeding you information. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane.
Thanks.
I know, because I too am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm rich.
Isn't everybody a little insane? You're over-radiated. How do you keep your shit together? Goodbye, Joyce our Messier. Goodbye, nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. How do you keep it together, Joyce?
The same strict psychological regimen the 8th Admiral developed when he crossed the Pale and discovered this Isola. The Volta Domar. It's used by inter-Islary travelers and other troubled souls, even to this day.
You could use a little of it yourself.
You're over-radiated, though.
I'm overexposed, baby. My travels take me through the Pale dozens of times a year. I've got the longing, and I've got it bad.
She points to her heart.
She would die to return to it. The Pale, the past, anything one can return to.
Isn't everybody a little insane?
No, Detective. No one's as insane as you.
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
I can't remember what this is in reference to. Nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. Goodbye, Joyce.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
She smiles. Secret task complete. Find solution to the strike deadlock.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering. With worry in his eyes, he does not know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything. You wonder what Everard has to say about this. Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so she at least said she wasn't going to go to war with them, right? Now we got a new thought, the Insulindian miracle. You were reminded of a poem somewhere deep inside you, translation of which you don't remember. Nulla sarà cambiato della luce, it begins. Colori com grigio e marrone. Tutti stampati uno sull'altro. Provai un vuoto. Una macchia bianca, gli altri guardarono. Che bella giornata, che bel tempo. Senti la rotativa. You were reminded of it when you heard about the discovery of Insulindi. But what does it mean, and how do you know it by heart? Right, we've got 2 points, so we might as well spend one on another thought. Lumpty Dumpty. Searchlight Division. Fair weather. Homosexual underground. Date of birth generator. This sounds quite interesting. It just takes a long time. We are going to go, you know, have a night's sleep before we go over there. It's just we have to spend a point to get rid of thoughts, which is a shame. This seems interesting. Let's do this one. The Insulindian Miracle. Let's hope we've got enough time to learn it. And we've got an actual skill point, but I'll save that for the time being. I really want to get into that room at the back of the whirling, but nevertheless, let's go and talk to Clashy, then we'll go and talk to Evrat again. Yeah, let's go see what Clashy has to say while we're trying to pass a little bit of time before we go and get our gun back and try and ask Lillian out on a date. Which would be nice. Or fun at least. Can't think of any other clothes we can buy besides the really expensive shoes that we just simply cannot afford unless we sell everything we own. I suppose those postcards are there to be sold, right? I'm pretty sure it's a Snake Eyes check on the physical instrument. No new persons appeared, no? We'll talk to our colleagues on the way out, see if they've got anything new to say. So we've just got to pass, what, an hour and a half of in-game time, right? Interesting that she's decided to compromise and not go to war. It's pretty much up to us to keep the peace now. Still don't know who the third Crenel operative is. I'm guessing it's Flashy, but could be wrong, right? Could be wrong. Could try and talk to the racist truck driver again. We've not spoke to him for a while. Pale driver, yeah. Renee and his buddy. She's still here. Let's just remind myself.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
Right. Oh, we've got a physical instrument boost already. Yeah, from the pants. Trousers. +2. And was there one more? Don't think there was, you know. I'm not losing a physical instrument on anything, am I?
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
I don't think... So we could drink some alcohol. -1 to morale, doesn't really matter. We can heal that off. So we could essentially drink this whole bottle to boost our physique, right? It just affects our morale and it's nearly bedtime anyway. We've got plenty of heals. How do we use it? Oh,
Well, hello. Someone seems to have found himself a bottle of alcohol. Here's where the magic happens.
oh yeah.
Light reflects off the green glass of the Commodore Red. The gods have been generous. Better pop it open before they change their minds. Wow, the gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy to open. A child could have done it. I don't know about this.
Sure.
There's a satisfying pop as the cork jumps out, and the hair on your back rises like an army at attention. You've been here before. Welcome back, detective. You're home now. You see a flash of teeth, a young woman smiling at you near some railway overpass in your ruined past. She is gorgeous, and she is yours.
What will be the repercussions if I take that sip?
Nothing. Some mental stuff. Nothing to be worried about. Physically, you'll be strong as an ox.
Sweet.
A golden sun melts down your throat. Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess. So does your mind. All the bad things are melting. You're you again. A real cop. A real detective. Incredibly well done.
So have all these gone up one, or has the threshold gone up one? Sweet.
From the void we came, and to the void we must return.
So how do I drink more?
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
How do I drink? Oh, I might as well give it a try then.
The same small, heavy door. No lock in sight.
Kick it in. We're going to get hurt if we mess this up. Oh!
You kick it, gung-ho style. Entering the premises style. But the door fails to respect the force. All you hear is the bar rattling inside, laughing at you.
All right, let's trash the place.
The woman nods approvingly.
Let's not.
Oh, is that... That's reopened? Strange. Right, Clashy.
I was just thinking, what a nice evening it is for taking part in a murder investigation.
Find your boy, it was empty.
Oh,
Did you take the documents?
no, of course not. As I said, it would have been too risky for me to use those documents anyway. My employer gave them to me. In truth, I should have destroyed them.
She doesn't seem to be lying. She's genuinely spooked by their disappearance.
Perhaps the people who are after you took it.
They couldn't know where I put it. I'm absolutely sure I was not followed. And I've told no one but you. You mentioned seawater? I was worried I'd been too careless with the latch. The documents were probably just washed away.
She waves a cigarette.
The words, washed away, sound distant and strange suddenly. Somewhere far away, a dog barks.
Why do I feel like you've won here?
I really don't know, sir. I certainly don't feel like I've won. I feel like shit, sir. All the time.
She takes a sip of her cold coffee.
She smiles, a bitter little smile. She means it.
But this turned out well for you. You've slipped past all suspicions.
Clearly, I haven't. We're having this conversation, aren't we? How well could it have gone, I mean?
She looks around.
The wet wind heavy with brine and industrial pollution from the stacks nearby, ruffles her hair.
I'm stuck in Martinez just like all of us. I've been up here for... I don't know how long now. I like to call this my rooftop containment facility.
What are you contained for then? It's all turned out well enough for you. You somehow managed to not become a suspect. Something seems off with this theory I've developed about Ruby. The dried flowers on the roof, could Ruby have left them? These don't fit with anything. Right, well, what are you contained for?
For my sins, of course. The long-standing sins of a bad, frivolous person. For destroying my first love. For working for bad people. The list goes on and on.
Self-deprecation, or self-pity. Self-condemnation. It's all turned out well enough for you. You somehow managed to not become a suspect.
Did I? Why do I still feel suspicion hanging over me then? What I managed was to get him killed. I understand that.
The lieutenant looks away, over the railing. He feels uncomfortable with this conversation. He doesn't know what to add.
Something seems off with this theory I've developed about Ruby.
I don't know what to say.
It all seems fortuitous for you.
None of this is fortuitous for me.
These dried flowers on the roof, could Ruby have left them? They don't fit with anything.
The what? Oh, those ones. I don't know, sir. I said I have no idea what to make of them. Honestly, I think they're just trash.
Well, we know that it's like a proper ritual from here. So it wouldn't have been Lely because he's not from Revachol, so that it was about soldiers from here, right? Could have been Ruby, could it have been Titus?
I mean, there's no reason for me to think they're somehow connected to her.
That's it then, I guess.
She nods, slowly, carefully even. There is suddenly a strange glint in her eyes. Not malicious, but dangerous.
Alright then. I don't know.
The same small, heavy door. No lock.
How do I keep drinking this? Or am I only allowed one boost at a time? I think that's probably right. Okay, so the drugs are a good way to boost. We don't lose too much, right? We've got plenty of morale. So this boost would be really good, right? That's a -1 to health, but we can heal that off as well. So we could really boost our psyche if we have a check we're going to miss. We're not going to get in there. We need this other pry bar. I'm trying to think where the hell we could get it from. Right, we need to go talk to Everard. I'll talk to our partners on the way past. And I'll talk to Gart. Maybe say something to Titus. I'll just see if they've got anything extra to say. I mean, we might as well try and broker some sort of deal with Everard, right? Feels like I've missed something. I mean, I could talk to Kuno S again because I kind of avoided talking to her after Kuno told us to kind of stay away. But right, Judith.
Yes. What is it?
Did you hear me sing?
That was pretty good, Harry. Wasn't it, Jean?
She pokes her companion with an elbow.
Whoa, how does she know your name? She probably heard it from somewhere. You have to be more careful, Karaoke Star. Names are dangerous.
From the same precinct.
That was absolute shit, if you want my opinion. Drunken shit. Haven't wanted anything to end this badly since I had cluster headaches.
Okay, thanks.
Horrible. Truly horrible. I beg of you, don't ever subject anyone to this torture again. I mean, seriously, you need to.
Jean, it's not right. Don't make it worse. And I really liked it.
Thank you, Judith. I don't see why she's called Horseface Woman. Bit
She
harsh.
actually did.
Did you just call me Harry?
Yes, I called you by your name. What about it?
How do you know my name?
God, Everybody knows your name. Please go finish your investigation, so everyone can go home.
Okay. Guards, have you got a pry bar I can have?
Hey, was there something you needed?
Well, well. Bringing him that new bird sure made a difference in his attitude.
I don't think he'll give me a drink. Give me a drink.
Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker?
He sounds irritated. And it's not a shaker. It's nothing. He's holding nothing.
You sound irritated. Why?
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this?
He shakes his imaginary shaker furiously.
Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No.
Because you're not a
That's
bartender.
right. I'm the cafeteria manager. I'm glad we cleared that. Was there anything else?
There's no one else here, you pillock.
Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police stuff.
I want a fucking drink, arsehole. You don't understand the seriousness of the situation. I'm an alcoholic. I need my fix. I'm an alcohol-operated detective. If you want me to clean up the dead body and solve the case, then you must insert alcohol into my mouth.
Oh, well, in that case, let me pour you a nice, big, refreshing marinella. Do you want that out of a glass or a pineapple?
You do not want to taunt me, not when it comes to Martinellas.
Don't be an imbecile. I'm not going to serve you a marinella. I have work to do and broken things to fix.
Fine. Fine. Titus, have you got anything new to say?
The Copper-nado is back. What do you want?
Can we go over Ruby's disappearance?
Yeah.
No, never
What?
mind. Never mind. There was no new dialogue there. Alright, let's go talk to Everett. We've just got to pass a bit of time, haven't we, to get to this meeting with the pigs. But hopefully that doesn't take too long, because I want to go and talk to Lillian after we send Kimmy off to bed. Right, let's go, go, go. You got anything new to say, Mr. No Chin?
Something odd?
Got a smoke?
No.
Fine. Hey, have you got any smokes?
Hola, wandering man.
Never mind. Okay. We could go and talk to Placence and Annette again as well, because we've not spoke to them for a day or two. If I'm correct. There were documents in
The
here,
file
right?
cabinet stands the drawer slide.
Never mind. Did I try the rhetoric check? I know it's a snake eyes check, but we might as well try it. Could take those drugs. That'll give us. Well, it won't give us an intelligence boost, actually, will it? We might as well save those for the morning, maybe. I don't know. I can't imagine drugs are going to give us an intelligence boost, to be honest. Yeah, motorics, psyche, and psyche. Did I try this already?
You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Huh. Let me just stick the rhetoric shirt on, right?
You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Now, the door has got an 83% chance of surviving, of winning this roll. And we know that 83% is guaranteed failure. Therefore, we're going to hit.
And, as it's always been, it's impossible to open a container with the rhetoric. Maybe you're losing your mind.
We were so close. Ah. I'm not happy about that. Alright, Everard. Let's see if Captain Mustache has got anything new to say.
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back
Can
to
we keep
talk.
this greeting
Sure, mister.
shorter?
Absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows such as yourself.
I want to ask about someone. You seem to know everyone.
Mr. Everett doesn't really want me to talk to people about union guys. But who did you want to talk about?
Who's Edgar?
Mr. Edgar is Mr. Everett's brother. He looks a bit younger, he does. But a very smart fellow. Very smart fellow indeed. He's away on some union business. Not even in Revachol, they say.
Okay, let's let him carry on.
All kinds of places he visits. Him and his brother both do when they're on a vacation. Right now, it's Mr. Everett's turn to look after the union. But last year he spent a whole winter in South Africa.
So he doesn't even live here most of the time.
Left with the first autumn rains and didn't come back before the trees were green again.
Typical.
The trade must have been lucrative for the trip to be so long.
What about Manana?
He's a union man through and through. Good guy. He's very calm, laid back, doesn't do much, talks to Everett sometimes. Honestly, I don't know what he does for us, but it must be important because everybody likes him. Yes, they do. I think that's what he does. He makes everyone feel a little better.
Oil for the wheels. Much needed in stressful times like these.
What about Measurehead?
Whoa, he's really something. He doesn't talk much to me usually, but when he does, I don't really understand most of what he's saying. Actually, I don't think he would like me running my mouth about him like that. Once he said he's a dragon to this mob fellow who came picking a fight with some union men. I think he really believes Jean-Luc was a dragon because he ran right off. Another time he almost killed another guy, but I shouldn't talk about that.
Uh-oh. Titus?
Oh, Titus is a longshoreman through and through. He was born on a boat, they say. His veins are probably filled with salt water, I tell you. Nice, friendly sort, old Titus is.
And Everard.
I'd best not. I mean, I could, but I don't think Mr. Everett would like it very much. You better ask him yourself, mister.
If anything, the ever-present smile on Leo's face gets even warmer. And René.
The night guard. Ooh, he's a peculiar fellow. He's the strong, silent type, you could say.
Okay.
We talk all the time, but I don't really know much about him. He plays petanque with my old human studies teacher, Mr. Martin, down at the plaza. I think he's the only fellow who actually knows old René. They lived on the same street their entire lives. Even dated the same girl on and off for as long as I can remember. Strange fellows. Mr. Martin was always real nice to me in school. I remember once.
Wait, he was your human studies teacher?
Mr. Martin, yes. Don't really remember much about him. I was just a boy back then.
Mr. Martin, Gaston also taught history and human studies to the Clear brothers.
Okay, that's everyone.
Sure, mister.
Alright. Let's go see what Everett has to say about Joyce backing off and potentially handing over the whole place to avoid a potential war or bloodshed, I guess. Unless I've misinterpreted it and she plans to stage war.
So, the ship has sailed. Did you see it? I know you did.
He leans towards us.
Tell me, what did it look like as it grew smaller and smaller when that mainsail dropped behind the horizon? Did it look like a germ? Did it look like a piece of bacteria?
His tone is totally different now. The jolly man of the people is gone, and so is the smile. You get a sinking feeling.
Yeah, it sort of did look like that. The bacteria growing smaller and smaller. No, it looked like a boat sailing away from the coast. No need to be overly dramatic.
You wanted us to relay all this information to her.
The lieutenant cuts in.
That this is a takeover? That I want a war? God, I hope you also told her about the drug trade. They absolutely hate getting their hands dirty with that. You can kill 1 million people, but if you do something the police doesn't like, well, then you're out of the yacht club. Goodbye, you inhuman fuck.
The vein on his forehead is pulsating. Now I know why you've been so forthcoming. So this was your plan all along, for me to relay this information to her. Now I know why you've been so forthcoming.
No, Harry. What we have is real. We're working men. This here is real.
So this was your plan all along, for me to tell all this to her.
Harry, I can't see into the future. We are all playing by ear on this planet. I had no idea she'd react so strongly.
But it is what you wanted.
I did. I knew the negotiations would go better with police officers telling her horror stories from inside the harbour. It's scarier this way. Turns out it was a magnificent strategy. I never thought it'd so fundamentally fuck her up.
How'd you know she left?
Harry, I bugged her cabin. I bugged her whole boat. I had cameras surveying her boat. Hell, I even wanted to bug that thermal cap, but my boys advised against it.
They must have done it while Joyce was busy questioning the locals.
You've been listening to the conversations we had with her.
Not me personally. I had guys recording and processing this information for me.
The Hardy Boys?
Hell no! They'd fuck it up. They can't do anything right. I mean my real boys. My special task force boys.
Where are these boys?
They sure as hell aren't hanging out in the open with beers in their hands for the cops to question. They're pros, Mr. Kitsuragi.
So you use me.
Harry, you made a conscious decision to relay that information to her. You could have kept it for yourself.
You used my curiosity against me.
Against you? Oh, Harry, I'd like to think I used it for you.
She did tell me a beautiful story about the discovery of the Insulindi.
Of course she did. Rich people have the best stories. About all the interesting things they've done and seen. All the beautiful places they've been to. It's just sentimentalism. She can afford to be sentimental, and she can afford to lose as well.
I suppose that's one attitude to have towards sentimentality, but...
It saddens him that she can. Sours it, but only a tiny bit.
We had a bit in common.
She's not insane. What did she tell you?
His expression betrays extreme skepticism. She told me she's over-radiated from Pale Transit.
No, she's not. She's a sentimental alcoholic. They all are. Never take a drop and you'll be 8 laps ahead of those upper-class winos. Just like old Mr. Clare here. Try it. You'll be a real super detective.
Ah, yeah, fuck off, Everett.
See, this is what they want us to do. Suck on that sugar and wine teat until we're insane like they are. You gotta be smarter than that, Harry, or you'll lose.
So what's gonna happen now?
What was always going to happen? We take the harbour and she fucks off to Ozon, uncorks a bottle of wine, calls her partners, and says they need to distance themselves from this nasty business before the big shit spinner splashes everyone. Only difference is the Union doesn't have to lose 2,000 men to machine gun fire.
You could have just told me. I would have been on board. No. Damn, Everett, I was hoping I'd somehow get to fuck you over in the end, not the other way around. I swore fealty to her. She was my beautiful lady. I don't know how to say that, Reed. I have a bad taste in my mouth. You better make sure this ends up saving lives. Look, I just want to do police work. Yeah, I've got a bad taste in my mouth. You better make sure this ends up saving lives.
That it will, Harry. That it will. As to the bad taste, please. You're not a sommelier. You're a cop. You knew something. Something big. And you wanted to see what happens when you tell someone. So you told her. Anyone who's ever been close to power will tell you. Inside information is the sweetest thing in the world. It's better than money. It's better than pussy. Money only makes you special for some salesmen. Pussy only makes you special for yourself. Information makes you special for all mankind. It's the ticket to history. Right on, Harry. What you did was participate in history. When history calls, you have to pick up. You had no choice. None of us ever do. A hard disco cop like you, I knew you weren't one to resist temptation.
You know what, Detective? I am going to leave this out of my report, and I suggest you leave it out of yours too.
Just look at the three of us. The three careless boyaderos. Good times, good times.
So what the fuck now?
Now we let bygones be bygones because there's work to do. For me and for you. I suppose there was a reason you came here, so let's have it. What can I help my best friend and comrade with today?
A few more questions about the harbour, big man.
I'm always happy to educate and entertain you, my friend. So, what's on your mind?
That's it.
Very nice, Harry. Is there...
Alright. We end another episode with Everett. So yeah. Fair enough, I guess, if it prevents any further bloodshed, right? In a way. They get what they want, they don't have to deal with it, but the Crenel soldiers are still here, dude, so a lot's going to rest on that. Alright guys, fascinating episode. Joyce is gone. Still can't get into that secret door. Maybe that'll be important, but I'm not sure. So we'll pick it up from here next time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave me a like if you did, and just remember, everybody, never trust an uncrate. I'll see you back in Revachol.